characters change, how characters are feeling, right? Just like us, right? Because characters are made up people, right? So you know you've been learning all these things about characters over the last few weeks, right? Can I get a little nod so they know that I'm right on? Okay. So one thing that I wanted to teach you today is that as readers, when we're reading, we actually can grow big ideas about our characters. We can grow some big ideas about our characters. Okay? So one way we can grow a big idea about our character, we can notice a couple of things. And I'm gonna do it in a minute, and then you're gonna try it. Okay? So I need all eyes, and I need you to ready to do this work. You ready? Okay. So there's a couple of things we can do to grow some big ideas about characters. And the one thing we can do is notice when characters' feelings change. Notice when characters react to situations. I have to underline react. And then be thinking, why? Like, why does the character do that? And be thinking, what does that make me think? So, as readers, there's kind of like ways and like steps almost, like a how-to kind of procedural about how we go about growing some big ideas about characters. Are you ready to watch me? Are you ready to watch me?
Yes.
Are you ready to watch me?
Yes.
I can't hear all of you. Say it again.
Yes.
All right. You ready to watch me grow a big idea about the character in our book? Elizabeth Lessons. Okay, watch. So teachers, one thing we want to do when we're planning a mini lesson is not just be thinking about the teaching point or the skill, but we have to, for kids, be able to scaffold how are they going to get to this, right? So it's not just about how readers grow big ideas about books, but it's also, I'm thinking, where in the book are they going to be stopping and thinking that? Then how am I going to scaffold their thinking? Because if I don't do that, they'll never get to that, right? So when I plan for my mini lessons, that's a big part of it, is that, okay, this is my teaching point, but how am I going to kind of like, how do I break it down for myself as a reader, and then how am I going to break it down for kids? And also be scaffolding on things that they already know. We've been doing a lot of work with characters' feelings, so I know that they know, they're aware of when characters change, right? So it is like a scaffold for them to get to the bigger level work or the higher level work. Okay, so in Lily's plastic purse, okay, purple plastic purse, there was a part where the characters' feelings changed. There's a couple parts. Lily's feelings changed quite a few times, right? So this one part, like Lily was happy, she was loving school, she was happy, 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 she loved her teacher, she drew nice pictures about her teacher, she loved all her stuff that she was bringing to school, she wanted to show everybody, she showed them, and then, stop, her feelings changed, right? When Mr. Slinger grabbed her stuff, he said he wanted to keep them at her desk. She felt differently. Look at her face. Do you see her face? Do you see her face? Do you see how her feelings changed there? She felt really upset. And then, how did she react? She felt really upset, and then she drew a nasty picture about Mr. Slinger. So I'm thinking, friends, why did she do that? What does that make me think? And I'm thinking, why did she do that? Because maybe it's because she's really like impulsive, right? Like she doesn't think before she acts. So the big idea that I have about Lily is that Lily doesn't think before she acts. Did you see how I did that? Did you see how I grew a big idea by noticing when the character's feelings changed and how she reacted? And then I said, why? What does that make me think? Right? And then I came up with that big idea, right? So one way I can kind of keep track of that big idea is I can jot it on a Post-it, right? Lily does not think before she acts. Right? And I could just stick it in my book like this. And if you just stick it in your book like that, you can stick it out a little bit, see my other Post-its, so that you can kind of find it. See that? You can find it when you need it. So you know where your big idea is. Are you ready to try it? Okay. So I'm going to read the next part. We're going to go back to the next part about when Lily's feelings changed again. And then we're going to be thinking, how did she react? And what does that make you think? So there was this other part. Remember, she was really, really... Oh! What was she? She was really, really... Furious, right? Not even angry at that point. She was furious. And then she was so angry. But then her feelings changed. She wasn't angry anymore, was she? What was she? Say it out loud. How did she feel here? Sad. She felt like crying. And then how did she react? She wasn't just sad and she didn't just sit there and cry. She was sad. She ran home and what did she do? She talked to her mom and dad and she put herself in the uncooperative chair. Right? And then she wrote a story. A good story about Mr. Slinger, right? So let's stop. Think. Show me your thinking. Put your finger on your head and show me your thinking. Some people think like this. Some people think like this too. They hold their chin and they think like this. Everybody think. Show me your thinking. Show me your thinking. This way or this way. Think. Why did Lily's feelings change and why did she react that way when she was upset? Why did she do that? What does that make you think? Lily ran home, told her parents everything, sat in the uncooperative chair, and then wrote a news story about Mr. Singer. Why did she do that? Why did she do that? Why did she do that? Turn and talk to your partner. Why do you think Lily did that? Lily, go, talk. Lily, turn and talk. Talk. Turn. I love the way you're turning. I love the way you turned. Good job, partnership. Lily, why do you think Lily did that? Why did she go home and do that? Why did she do that? You have to be thinking. What do you think she did? Why did she want to tell her parents to write a letter? What's it make you think about Lily? Why don't you turn and listen to this script? Because you're confused. You think what? Say it loud. Was she? Was me? Lily. Say it in the sentence. Lily was guilty or Lily? No guilty. So Lily's the kind of like person that feels guilty, right? So, friends, what are some big ideas? What's your name? David. Eyes on David. David, tell everybody what big idea you had about Lily in this book. Eyes on David. Eyes on David. Who shaped the name? Did you hear that big idea? Lily felt guilty for being mean. Is Lily the kind of character that maybe like feels bad after she does something that's really not nice? What else do you think? Who else wants to share their big idea? High five. Good job. Who else wants to share their big idea that they had about Lily? Eyes on the speaker. Turn around. Lily. And it was mean, right? But then she felt bad and she ran home and told her parents. Why did she do that? Eyes on the speaker. But did she have to go tell her parents? But she did. Why? Yes. What does that make you think? Lily. Say like Lily's the kind of person who feels guilty, right? When she does something bad, right? What else, friends? What else does that make you think about Lily? Who else wants to share? What'd you guys talk about? Okay, so she was mean there, but she got better. We're gonna try one other time, part in the book, okay? So teachers, as a teacher, I could just stop right there and like let them go independently and read, but I do have another spot where they can try this, okay? And I think because it's the same character, it might have been difficult to differentiate the two parts to do this work, so I'm gonna try it with Mr. Slinger, okay? So friends, there's a part in the book where Mr. Slinger, his feelings change, okay? Are you ready for the part? Look, and you have to look at his face to see the part. He's smiling. He says, excellent choice. He's a happy teacher, right? But all of a sudden, now look, his face.